I suck at jiu-jitsu. How do I suck less at jiu-jitsu?
I guess to suck less.
The diabolical leader of the head-knock squad.
Mark, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm doing awesome. Yeah. Good. Just walk the dogs and everything and try to stay busy, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, so we just had mentioned it. We just started talking about it off air, but you are recovering from a heart attack.
That's right.
What was the experience of having a heart attack like? And then two, what is recovery looking like? You know, I know you love beating up people and doing jujitsu. And so first time we ever met was actually me getting to review you beating up on a blue belt. And so I know you love training.
That's right.
I know you love pressuring blue belts. So what has the recovery process and what did the heart attack kind of look like?
Okay, well, here's why it was. The whole thing was a surprise. A few years ago, I mean, if I go listing my medical history there, we're going to do 5 hours and we're still going to be on it. But a few years ago, I did some blood work I never missed the blood work. I think why we can cure a lot of disease these days called early detection. So I get some blood work done and my doctor says, going to see an hematologist ASAP. So I did. And turned out I have a chronic leukemia, which is okay because it's chronic leukemia. Stage 0 and 1 for 30 years. So your doctor says there's no symptoms for 30 years. So the word leukemia scares the shit out of people. But in this case, so we got to monitor it. So I'm telling you this because just to let you know, I did blood work on a regular basis because of that. We got to monitor in case it doesn't tip into the bad leukemia, right? Mm-hmm. So my blood work always came up clean and no issues with typical like middle-aged stuff. So imagine when I got the heart attack, because that's the last thing you think you're going to get because the blood work's clean. I don't have cholesterol. I don't need blood pressure pills. I'm not obese or anything So it lasted like a few weeks before I used to get at night I'd get heartburn, so I figured it was diet, and I had pain in my shoulder, which I attributed to my torn rotator cuff. So I didn't, because I know the symptoms of a heart attack. I could have took a first responder course. So, and anyway, to cut to the chase there, on the day it happened, I did a class, had a couple rolls, and I had a good time, felt good. And I started to coach. We have a school program now for kids. They finish school a little early and they can do their sport, hockey. We have a jiu-jitsu program for kids. So I'm sitting there and I get that big heartburn. I said, Jesus, that's really like out of the ordinary. Then suddenly my left arm goes numb. My right arm goes numb. I said, okay, this is not a heartburn anymore. So I said, okay, so I tell the kids, I said, I'm going to go to the hospital. So I figure I'm going to drive one street corner. If I see I can't drive, I'm pulling. So after out of the parking lot, I reparked the car. I said, can't drive, call 911. They came to pick me up. And it's kind of wild, because you never know how you're going to react to this until you get it. But I was in the ambulance. They gave me some nitro. They did ECG. They forwarded to the hospital. And oddly enough, I was lying there and I started to get a case of the giggles. And the ambulance guy, an old paramedic, said, sorry, my dog's eating a plant he shouldn't be eating. I should say Brianna's dog. Anyway, so so he says, well, what's funny, I said, hey, that might be the way I kicked the can. And he goes, yeah. I said, okay. And oddly enough, I was at peace. Like I didn't get panic anxiety. Because you figure, I told the guy, I said, whatever happens, happen. And I realized when you start to relax in life is when your kids are established. My eldest is doing very well. She's a businesswoman. My son is finishing his PhD. And, Brianna's Brianna. So they got to the hospital and I literally had a Ferrari pit crew waiting for me. There was 2 cardiologists. They slapped me. They put a stent, and as they put it, they guide this stuff with ultrasound or something, and they saw some more blocked vessels there. So I stayed there. I was okay. Like it's recovery's fine, but then they said the 3 other vessel needs to be, the plumber needs to do his job, but they can't put a stent because blood vessels wind around and they can't reach or whatever. Sorry, I failed cardiology in school, but so they say we're gonna have to do a triple bypass. So now I'm waiting for the triple bypass. Where they slice you down the middle. They use like a car jack to spread you apart, and so no knee on bellies for a while. But so right now I can exercise, but cannot let my heart rate over 120. So which is not much, but try to stay engaged. You know what? It's like maybe it's because I read the Stoics there, but there's nothing I can do about it. So getting frustrated and mad at life because of that is kind of pointless. It's not productive. So I tried. I lost weight like purposely. I figure it's like so I went from I'd say 185, 190 to 170, just for just I thought it'd be easier on my heart, and and since I can't exercise, so I didn't eat in the same regimen that when I was training, obviously, because I'd be so the idea is that I'm focusing a bit on mobility. It's always been a challenge, so my exercise I do is about mobility and stuff. So I don't feel frustrated, It's like it's life, man. I know I'll roll again. It was a bad break in 2023. I signed up for the World Championship no gi, because oddly enough, I find no gi easier on my old carcass than gi, and I can those isometric position you get in gi, when you're locked in grips, and difficult for me now with my hips and everything. No gi, it's like I think it's easier in that respect. I never got hurt doing no gi, and anyway, so I signed up for the Worlds, and 4 days before I get pneumonia. Oh, damn, I couldn't go. I felt bad because in my bracket, there was the people I was fighting were coming from Europe. So I said, I hope they, so I said, finally some people bailed. So I was down with one opponent, and he was coming from Scotland. So I tried to call him. I said, dude, don't, pay the trip to Vegas and everything. I felt real bad. I even called BJJF. You got to find a way to reach this guy. And turned out a couple more guys signed up for the bracket at the last minute. So I didn't know that because I stopped checking. So I said, okay, now I can relax, So I was getting ready for 2024. And then I shredded my rotator cuff. So that was the end of it. And then came the heart attack. So I'm looking for 2026. Hopefully I'll hit the mats. I had a blast. I don't understand like the Masters, why they don't want to go to the World's Masters. It's like a hockey beer league. It's a lot of fun. It's serious. People compete hard, but it's a good vibe. And let's put it this way. I'd love to. ADCC rules Masters is above 35. What am I going to go do in there? It's like. So I beat JJF. I can go with another guy who's sponsored by Viagra. So we're good, Like I can go out there and, with a big back patch in the back of my rash guard saying "Roll hard, Viagra," But it's like, so I'll be back on the mats for sure. I had a good time in 2019. Tell you the truth, it's like I hadn't competed in a long time, and my first match, I beat a guy who was actually was a big thing in the Pacific area, Asia and stuff like that. That was a good match. And the second match, I lost by advantage or something. The guy had 4 stripes on his black belt. And I'm still, you know what, you got to hear this, because when I was wrestling, I did not do that great. I was middle of the pack. But there was something in common. Everybody that wrestled me could not continue after they went home. They were done. So all my friends just signed up to flow to see me, my old friends. And the second guy I fought went home after when he was finished. He didn't continue. So my friends are saying, fuck, you haven't changed, bro. It's like
That's beautiful. That's the that's the goal. Is like, man, even if I can't win, you're gonna regret going with me. I like it.
Yeah, but it's like, don't forget, when I started to grapple a long time ago, like grappling per se, because I did judo, wrestling. I started with judo. I think I got a green belt a long, long time ago. but I don't remember anything, so it doesn't count. And then we moved. There was no more judo in my neighborhood, so I started wrestle in high school and stuff. And when we started grappling, we didn't have coaches. I didn't have somebody like you to tell. So we were a group. We had a sambo guy from Belarusia. We had Hungarian wrestler. We had a guy, my friend Ronnie was on Team Canada for a while, judo. So we all pulled the knowledge type thing. And everything we did back then was about raw damage. Like we did, what do you mean, point system? I remember when I officially started jujitsu, you know how many times on the first roll they told me, you can't do that. Whoa, you can't do that. No. You can't. That's all I heard. I said, shit, is this thing even a martial arts at martial art at this point? But yeah, I'm happy things have evolved because all my friends I used to roll with back then are not rolling anymore. They're banged up, like they're terribly banged up. One friend of mine cannot turn his head to the right anymore. It's like everything was cranks and stuff and things, and so yeah. So everything was about raw damage. So I guess I was hardwired for that, you know. Like the standard joke is that when I was a blue or purple belt was that, oh, Mark, you can't pass half guard for shit because the people always wind up tapping halfway through the pass, you know. It's like, so I stopped doing that because two reasons. Because number one, I don't want people to do it to me. And when I started to rely on that, my game took off a bit better. Like I was outsmarting people as opposed to rip things up on the way in, which is important to know how to do. Don't get me wrong. But at some point, okay, like if I roll with Brianna, for example, I'm going to try to turn that into a chess match. And usually it's not going to go. I'm trying not to put 190 pounds on her and see how far I can twist her head. But and then it's fun because we have a good match, and technically she's much better than I am. So it's very easy to waste rolls. You know what I mean? Like I thought when you go with a beginner, it's not a waste of time. Start mounted, like, you know, like give him the back, give him the hooks, everything, you know. And there's always a way to make a roll work and not waste it, you know. So this is why I said this is why I like rolling with Brianna, because usually I'm barely surviving because I'm trying to make this into a tactical jiu-jitsu thing, and so I'm not there. I'm not at that level. I'm a garage league black belt, you know, like that's what it is. So it's like so that makes the roll fun, and you know. But in the past, as a blue and a purple belt, I had that freaking wrestler's mentality, you know. And there's probably, and then not only that, you'll damage yourself doing that, you know. It's punishing on your own body. Murillo Bustamante came once and he told me, he said, if you want to keep doing this for a long time, you're going to have to stop wrestling and start doing jiu-jitsu. And words of wisdom, you know, it's what it is. Like, you don't see any guy competing looking good as wrestlers in their 30s and their 40s and stuff like that. It might be the exception, but, you know, there's only so many times you can hit the mat at 30 miles an hour, you know, like, not for me.
Hey guys, Josh McKinney here. I have some bad news for you. Your gym bag stinks. And I'm not talking about quality. I'm going to talk about quality in just a second, but what I'm actually talking about is how bad your gym bag smells. Your gym bag smells as though a mariachi band farted in it for like 3 days straight. Then you took a wet, sweaty gi, threw that into the bag, zipped it up, and left it for 3 months. You know that your bag stinks. Your training partners know that your bag stinks. Most importantly, your significant other really knows that your gym bag stinks. Guess what? I have the solution for you. Datsusara is making the only jiu-jitsu bags that don't stink. And now we are talking about quality, but first let's talk about the smell. They use a hemp blend that is antimicrobial. What that means is while you are on the mats fighting for underhooks, your gym bag can be in the locker room fighting odor-causing bacteria. So for someone like me, I've done jiu-jitsu for 16 years and I've actually gone through about 10 different gym bags. I have never had even a desire to buy the same bag twice because I've never enjoyed the quality. The pockets are not made for a jiu-jitsu athlete. They're not made keeping in mind the things that a jiu-jitsu enthusiast would be carrying. Well, that is another huge difference with Datsusara. The quality of these bags, they are going to last you forever. They're going to last longer than your knees, your shoulders, your hips. They're going to last longer than your jiu-jitsu career because the materials that they use are ultra durable. You can feel it down to the zippers using YKK zippers. These are like the best zippers that you can put on a bag. But also the pockets are thought out for a jiu-jitsu athlete. I've been rocking the 45-liter bag for the last month. I have gotten more compliments on that bag than I have on my jiu-jitsu, which maybe is a little sad, but it also is really cool to have such a high quality product that I use every single day for my jiu-jitsu training. And because the owners of Datsusara are fans of the iSuck at Jiu-Jitsu show, right now they're giving 10% off using promo code iSuck, actually anything in their store. So again, you can go to dsgear.com, look at their entire catalog and use promo code iSuck at checkout to let them know that you appreciate them being fans of the iSuck at Jiu-Jitsu show and you appreciate some of the best products that there are in jiu-jitsu. Let's get back to the episode.
So how have you had to adjust your game to that? Because that's so true. Is you get so many guys. I mean, yeah, you don't see. There's not Master 5 divisions for for wrestling, and you see so many guys that their body is destroyed by the time they get to jiu-jitsu because they wrestled.
So here's how I played the adjustment: is that I realized I said, I love doing this. I got to keep going. So I started to do things, and this is why I tell people you have to be willing to take your beats. For example, I was always terrified, no reason, like hang-ups, pure emotional, like non-based on reason hang-ups. I can stand De La Riva. And so, but I said, you know what? That's why I tell people, I said, we all have specialties at black belts, right? I have specialties. I will force the half guard. I always force a half, flat back half. I'm good at that. And usually, if I put my hand on somebody's head, it's not a good thing for them. But then again, maybe so a student of mine might ask me a question about De La Riva or Lasso Spider combo or something. I need to be able, I'm the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to be able to answer his questions. So people ask me about De La Riva, and I said, so for 3 months, I decided I'm going to play De La Riva. And I got my ass beat, like it's an understatement there. I mean, Jesus, I was beaten like a redheaded stepchild, my friend. Like it was just brutal, like a rented mule, like it just badang, badang, badang. And am I a De La Riva expert? No, absolutely not. But I can answer a question or two, And that expanded my game. And I realized that what is a go-to position for somebody is a great transition position for me. I like to wrestle up. So I like to come up with the single from De La Riva. I mean, that's what it is. So based on my ability and limitations, but so I started to force myself to play position that I would not play before. Like, you cannot talk about leg locks and no-gi unless you understand you have at least a very functional knowledge of the butterfly guard. Get inside foot position and this and yada, 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 yada. So you know what? I said, okay, it was only one way to do this. So I took another 3 months of beat downs. It's like, geez, Louise. It's like, but so I adjusted. And here's another thing too. It's like, you have to understand, you have to tap sometime. Maybe if it's not a submission, sometimes something is not being bent at an awkward angle. Like you have to, I tell people that rule number 1 in jiu-jitsu, know when you're fucked. I'm sorry, but when you get your arm injured because you try to beat an arm bar in practice, when you're a weekend warrior, it's not a sign of intelligence. Like, dude. So what we do in my classes, we have a system so we can practice getting out of fully locked in submission, I said, the first thing you do, you say tap, and you tell the guy to hold it. So he holds that position without finishing. So for him, he's practicing his control, like not to drop the heel or not to get the guy slide his clear his knee. While the other guy, so he can do a full tilt submission escape without getting his knee torn, you know? So you want to practice live escape. That's how we do it. Now, would I tell somebody like Gordon Ryan prepping for ADCC to do it like that? Maybe, maybe not. But I got weekend warriors, man. Who pays your bill at your school? Is the white belts, that's the bottom of the pyramid, blue belts. So those are the guys, you know? These guys that pay your bills. So, and you know what? They're not afraid. They try. The guy grabs the bite on the heel. He taps right away and he tells hold. And I figure you can, you know, or ask for a countdown. You got 10 seconds to clear the knee line or else it's a done deal and we reset, you know? So there's all kinds of things you can do to, but it's like, it's very important at a certain age. Like I had to change my game. And you know what? That was fun. And there's another thing that helps you change your game is injury. Every time I got injured, my jiu-jitsu got better. When I got started, I had no bottom game. Fuck bottom. I don't want to be there. Right? Guard pullers are wussies and stuff. I got every cliche you hear about. It was me. So I broke 4 toes. So suddenly I had to play on my back for the next like 6-7 months. So suddenly I had a bottom game. So the injury kind of forced me into it too because I wanted to keep going. I couldn't stand up. My toes were banged up, something bad. So I got a bottom game out of this. The standard joke when a guy says, I can't play bottom for shit. So I pretend to step on their feet, you know, like, let me take care of this for you. Like, oh, yeah. It's like, you know. So, yeah. So it's like, you know, necessity's the mother of invention. I wanted to keep rolling. So a lot of times I blew my MCL. So that forced me to start learning playing half guard on the other side. Like, you know. It's what it is. So it's like you got, you know, there's you know, the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is that it's an alive heart. We don't have any statement. Well, 600 years ago we did it like that. We keep doing it the same way. Like I don't know where jiu-jitsu is gonna be when the new when the IBJJF was there alone as the big show. The technical evolution was done to fit in these rules, right? It's a winning IBJJF move, but it's shitty grappling, bro. You know, if I get a flat back half with a good leg ride, leg on leg, I call that leg on leg control entanglement. And you know what? I'm not passing this. Or if I score the 3 points, as soon as the ref gives me my 3, I'm going to go step right back in the half because I can get out of side control easily enough. A good guy who can ride the top half like a savage, this is hard to get out. Very hard to get out. You're not going to get out. So this is why, I mean, you have to understand at some point that first of all, it starts, you have to accept reality. You're getting old, bro. You know what I mean? That's what it is. You have to, you really have to accept, you know, life is about accepting things. Right? So that's how it is.
I think that even the idea, let's just take one step back there to where you said about, you know, people get addicted to the scoring of points and it creates weird value systems where you don't recognize that smashed half on top is one of the most powerful positions because you're pinning their shoulders and you're killing their hips. As soon as you step to side control, their legs are free to run away from you. And
100%.
And then, but people don't do it because, oh, that would be an advantage or that would give them a chance at a back take because of the points.
Exactly.
And it's weird that can transition. That's why I always love when I get to talk to people who learned jiu-jitsu kind of outside of the rules and outside of the norms. And you always find that those people really believe in the conceptual approach and not the do this technique to get these points. Use this idea to accomplish the task. And that for you is like You have 176 different grappling concepts that you have shared on your Instagram. And that, to me, those are so much fun. But I wanted to ask you specifically about one of them. Let me pull it up.
Hey guys, Josh McKinney here. So since starting our third jiu-jitsu school, I've been getting the same question over and over again about running jiu-jitsu schools. And it's this: what is the secret to having 3 jiu-jitsu schools? It's actually not much of a secret. It's actually the same secret to running 1 successful jiu-jitsu school. And it's this: simplicity. One of the biggest things that I look at when I'm teaching jiu-jitsu or when I'm running the jiu-jitsu business is, how can we make this simpler? How can we make this easier for people to do? How can we make it easier for people to walk in the door and sign up at our school? And when it comes to the business side of things, there is nothing simpler than Kicksite. Kicksite is a student management software, but they also run our website. They also run our billing. They actually also run our advertising now. There are so many different layers to how Kicksite can help you, but if we boiled it down to the simplest thing, they can make it so easy to sign people up, to collect money from them, for people to be able to change their credit cards and be able to update, and for people to be able to commit even more to your gym. And right now, if you go to kicksite.com/Josh McKinney, there's actually a hyphen between Josh and McKinney. But if you go there, I'll make sure to put a link in the description. They will give you a 30-day free trial to let you know whether or not Kicksite is for you. For me, I signed up for a 30-day trial with them sometime in like 2016, and it is one of the best decisions that I made. And I can guarantee you, if I didn't do that, I would still have 1 jiu-jitsu school and it wouldn't be as successful as it is right now. Again, this is kicksite.com. They are the top of the industry when it comes to student management, when it comes to billing, when it comes to simply knowing how to run a martial arts school. Be sure to check them out. Let's get back to the episode.
Oh, perfect. You don't have a top game. And this is grappling concept number 31. You don't have a top
31,
game
okay.
until you grasp the concept of weight distribution. Start with that. Where did that concept start for you? Looking at weight distribution.
Well, good question. What helped me to understand jiu-jitsu quickly is that I grapple before another style. And those grappling concept, I try to make him, because I've seen a lot of guys, they're good jiu-jitsu guys, but they're lousy grapplers. If you change the rule set, they died in a New York minute. So we saw that with ADCC and CGI and stuff. It looks like a different sport than you said IBJJF. And so for me, weight distribution is like, it's the art of making yourself heavier than you are. And by I always give the same demo. I go from a 100 kilo type side control position, and I just do a few things with my hips and my feet. And suddenly I can hear the guy under go, I weigh the same. I didn't change my weight. I just placed it. So a lot of time a guy will do the right thing with his hands. And because of bad weight distribution, will get rolled over. You see that a lot with white belts, right? So I said, you have to, and this is mileage. It's not me telling you need to put your hips there, because if the person who's under moves a little, maybe that spot is not good anymore. It changes where to put your hip. It's not like, you always put your hip on that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. But when the guy will move, he's not going to let you do it. So you might have to shift that weight and either track him with it or not. So this is, I don't think you can explain this technically. You cannot come like a scissor sweep, say, grab the collar, the sleeve. No, it doesn't work like this. This is a feel. I rolled in a wrestling coaching clinic once. I rolled with a guy which came from Kazakhstan. He got second at the Worlds, and he won the Asian Games, I think, or the Asian Championship. And he was about 145 pounds. And it's like I was freaking doing those Atlas Stone and Strongman contests. We're standing up. We're not even on the floor. And I'm literally, I said, I'm trying to carry him. And he was still balanced on his feet. He was just so damn heavy. 145 pounds. Imagine a guy like Sadulayev hanging off you, you know? But so this, I think, is accomplished with mileage and play. You got to play with this. And I think this is better educated with games than actual, like a technical, do this, put your foot, I think it's more of a feel thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can memorize all the moves you want in the world. And because I know I have guys like this. Hi, Kevin. We listen to this. But Kevin can name you every goddamn move in the catalog. Right? It's like he knows all the moves and this and that and this and that. And you can know all this. But if you don't know where to put your weight, it's irrelevant. It goes to tits. So how about we prioritize the learning? Right? Because when you build a house, you pour the foundation in. And then you put on the frame, then the walls. You don't start by painting and hanging the picture frames and then pouring foundation. So I had a guy once tell me, I want, because when Danaher came out with his Danaher breakdown thing, and he comes out and Danaher said himself, he goes, there should be another box set before on butterfly guard and things like this. What you got was the cherry on the cake. So I said, I want to learn this. I said, how's your butterfly guard game? He goes, I hate butterfly guards. I was like, I don't know how to put this to you, bro, but you better start getting functional with that, So everything as technique zero, remember we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
So in grappling, learning how to put your weight, you can only explain it so much. It's a feel thing, right? It's like if you play the electric guitar, you bend a note. I mean, you got to bend to the right tone. You know what I mean? Like, so it's the same thing. So weight distribution is like every good grappler I roll with, like Cascao, Leonardo Saggioro. Jesus. I mean, look, let me show you something. Because of him, I had to buy these things. You know what these things are?
What are those?
Those jaw chewing things. I can't open my mouth in the morning because of him. But yeah. And Leo was great with that because he was not a big man. I think he competed at 145 or something, if I recall. But Jesus, that's one of the heaviest guy I ever rolled with, So that's what it is. Good grapplers always are heavy. If you're a grappler, you call yourself jiu-jitsu, whatever you do, you're on top. And your opponent does not feel weight on him. I'm talking weight, not strength. There's a difference between mass and just like doesn't feel this. Let me tell you something. The guy's not that great of a grappler because I know guys are very little. They're not known for smashing like I am, more my specialty. But still, when they're on top of you, they get you to carry them. My wrestling coach used to say, make him wear the lead shirt. So anything the guy does, he has to have the feeling. I tell the guys, the teenagers, when you try to bring your friend home and he's drunk and he's dead weight, try to lift him up, what it is. So you have to melt the cheese on the guy, So that's why the weight distribution. I mean, what is technique zero grappling? I mean, when you're on top anyway. What do we say to the guarders? Your job is to create space. The guy on top is to remove space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you cannot make yourself heavy, how are you going to do that? That's basically the idea behind it,
That
it
makes,
could have been. Yeah, for it.
That makes sense. I think just can you, for the listeners that maybe didn't hear your BJJ Mental Models episode, can you explain what Technique Zero is?
Okay, so this is, first of all, it's Fred Kumsatira. Fred has 3 stripes on his black belt, but in social media, he's a freaking white belt. He doesn't care about anything like this. He just wants to teach his class and leave me alone, But we realize is that, because we're not teaching technique zero is not something like when you coach one-on-one, you do a private. Technique zero is you look at your group There's always various levels in the group and stuff like that. Or you go to a tournament, you observe how your team as a whole does. You will notice if you pay attention, there's a common mistake that's going to happen in every role, a common concept. Like we just had a tournament this weekend, and the amount of points that were left on the mat because people could not finish the back takes. They got there, they could not. So, and then you look at it and you say, God damn, it's obvious. But Technique Zero exposes me, the coach. Because when it's a mistake that everybody does in the class, a conceptual mistake, it is on me. It's not because one guy has got a problem and get it. No. So we look at the group and we say, my God, they're all doing this. Right? So then what we do is that we regress from there. We're going to train that spot, that exact spot, because like I said, we're organizing the class for a big group, right? So we say, okay, they all did various, we had a problem. They were not doing any, when they shot leg attacks, for example, there was no penetration or the head position was crappy. So we realized that a lot of the takedowns got stuff. So we looked at the entire group and we said, okay, so how are we going to do to fix that? Because that's on us. That's our coaching. There's something in the way we deliver the material that either it's underemphasized or something. So we did duck unders. Duck unders, duck unders, duck unders. And then I said, okay, you gotta be careful when you coach not to give too much information because everything starts swimming in their heads. So I say, all right. I said, now you're going to come in like you duck under and you're going to do a leg attack. I saw perfect single, high crotch, head inside. And it's because now suddenly the mechanics of the duck under fixed the problem of the lack of penetration, crappy head position. So technique zero is actually getting in and stepping into the guy's kitchen, right? Getting the penetration and not looking at the floor and stuff. I'm talking about entry-level people, right? So technique zero is to analyze the group and figure out there's always a common mess up there. There's always you do a bench press, there's a stick point, right? Sometimes you get stuck. And that 6 point is somewhere during the range of motion. So when you see the whole group perform and you look at, okay, well, when the guys were at the bottom, they all did this. That's the stick point, but it's a common stick point. It's not like a one guy thing. So it's really designed towards managing the group. So we realize, like, for example, we have a sweep, which is like a waiter sweep, like a flower sweep if you want, but it's with the arm across, right? And it's tight. It's like a tight waiter sweep arm across. And I realized that they were trying to catapult the guy over as opposed to switch it. I tell people, and generally speaking, there's exception, but if you're under and you want a guy to go to your left, your hips will have to go to your right, get that thing under. So they weren't switching. So I said, okay. So we taught the move, bring the arm across, and now we taught him about going on to the back first. Do that as a back attack, right? And then suddenly, well, the guy on top doesn't want his back taken, so he pushes in to square up in the guard, right? He wants to square up in the guard. And when he does this, he does the hip switch for the other guy, really. So the other guy reads, in his mind, feels the energy, and he turns and the guy falls. So suddenly we fix the hip switch on the armpit knee sweep, we call it. But so it's just, honestly, it's not a specific formula. It's based on observation and regression, because the way your class perform as a group, when you watch the roll, a lot of time we're four instructors and we start looking at each other like, whoa. That means like, yeah, they're all doing it and we're seeing it, so then we can go and address specific what that problem is. Because you cannot shoot anything wrestling wise without getting penetration and having your head at the right position. So that would be find a way. Technique zero is that do anything, create a game, use another technique. Like in the case of our doubles, we use the duck under to teach the double. But it's important, if you want to do this, not to be emotionally attached to a teaching principle. Because I love those conversations with ecological and traditional and stuff like that, because as a teacher, honestly, I don't give a shit what method I use as long as they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And not many people, there's always a pathway to reach somebody. And some people might react amazing to an ecological method. Doesn't mean that automatically everybody will.
Mm-hmm.
So your teaching method, I find, has to be like an hybrid. So I understand, okay, this, okay, I'm getting success with this, emphasize it. Getting success with another method that's maybe not your cup of tea, well, emphasize it, because your students are paying customer and they're buying a service. It's to get the best possible jiu-jitsu education as they can get. So your job is not to try to force them into a learning model, but it's to try to find what reaches them. And what's difficult as a group is that, you know how it is. Same thing, we have the problem we have in education here is that they put 30 kids in the class and there's 5 different levels, right? Some of them are super gifted, other ones are behind a bit. So you have to find a way to teach that's going to deliver the material to everybody. You're not going to bored the gifted one to shit and not overwhelm the one who struggles. So I really don't care how I teach something. Like it's irrelevant. I'm not going to try to adjust the group to my teaching method. I'm going to adjust my teaching method to the group. That's a new one. So I'm not like ecological. Don't forget, when I learned grappling per se, not wrestling or judo, we had no teacher. Everything was ecological.
Yeah.
We didn't call it like this, but you know what the class was? It was an hour of rolling. And then we'd sit around and say, okay, what happened? I got stuck that way and stuff. And then we start by everything was experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And it was very like ecological and stuff like that. But we had no teacher. We're forced into it, So we had the sambo guy was giving his feedback and stuff, the judo guy, the wrestling guy. So we got it together like this, It's like there was an interest back then. See, now people don't understand now. You see what we're doing now? When I started this, now you can go on YouTube, right? You can see some instructionals. You can pirate stuff. You can do all kinds of stuff if you don't want to pay. And back then, you can see matches. Back then, we used to say we were the first guy to grapple in Montreal, but it was probably a lie. I'm be telling you, because probably was other guys, but nobody networked because it was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, I fell off a horse. I had a major back injury and put another one in the column of orthopedics fuck-ups. But anyway, and my friends were finding old VHS and Betamax tapes for me to watch, while I was in bed. So now, so everything we did was ecological. We weren't, for people with no teachers, we're pretty damn good. I mean, if we would have had you or somebody like that to teach us, we probably would have been even better. But the idea is that we may do with what you had, It's like, look at animals in the wild. That is, the lion learns how to kill a freaking wildebeest. Since he's a baby, he plays. Like, how we coach? And seriously, we had a beginner. You know how we did it? The guy came in, we showed him shit. We just got him to roll. He got his ass murdered. And as soon as we saw that he got into solution mode, instead of just straining and pulling and pushing, when we saw that click, okay, now he's trying to find a way out. He's trying to think it. He's trying to process it. He's ready. Now he gets into the class. So we threw the guy into the fucking shark pool. Not until he won, but until he was able, when we saw he went into solution mode in his head, we figure he's ready to be taught. That's how we did it. So I don't know. It's like, you make do. That's your job as a teacher, It's like, it's what it is, man,
It's interesting too, that because people, I think, especially people that are starting jujitsu, the more recent that you start jujitsu, the more that you think that jujitsu is this sacred text, and grappling is this
Right.
sacred text that was passed down from generation to generation. But there's no argument at some point or another, someone that you learned from had to go through what you're talking about, where we just
100%.
experimented and just figured it out. And then that's where these quote unquote sacred techniques or sacred ideas ended up coming from.
I tell you know what? The concepts never change. The technique changed all the time. Being an alive, you know what? They say Latin is a dead language. Doesn't change Latin. It won't change for the next 10,000 years. Go to France, go to Paris, see what's happening to the French down there. It's gone. I mean, I don't care, but language evolve. And what kept my interest with jujitsu is the fact that it changes all the time. Like you see more and more. I think, Oscar Wilde used to say, you can guess a man's age by how hard he resists to change. And jujitsu is changing. When Keenan said that just in the jujitsu thing, not MMA, he goes, the black belts of the 90s are basically purple belts of the times now. And that stung for a lot of guys, but I think he's got a serious point there. I look at these guys, oh my freaking God, look at this. And it should be like this, it should be like this. If it's not like this, it's a dead heart, You look at a flying sidekick, right? Flying sidekick. So I always joke around. I said, how do you counter this? It's easy. You step aside and you look the guy fly over you. But they say, well, that's bullshit. No, it was not bullshit because it was made to knock a guy off a horse while he wasn't looking. So the peasants, they wanted to kidnap the samurais because you can ransom them for a lot of money. So a guy be on his horse barking orders this way, and this freaking dirt farmer would take a running start and kick him off his horse. So unless you would think you're going to kick a guy out of his Lexus on the highway, it's like, so that move had probably made sense when it came out. But because of the dogmatic approach and stuff, well, we did it like that for 600 years, therefore, but jiu-jitsu's not like this, I like when ADCC became more prevalent and CGI because like an old friend of mine says, well, it looks like grappling's getting back in it, Like how many times people poo-pooed the freaking can opener to get out of a guard? And you know what? Look at the Rotolos. Remember when he was trying to rip Tackett's leg out of the closed guard at CGI? Dude, it works. What do you want me to tell you? So I teach my people to one-hand can opener. If they're not allowed two hands, go can openers. But I said, what's wrong with it? So I used to watch this and I'm saying like ooh, okay. But now remember, all those stupid arguments like gi, no gi, what's more exciting? The rule set makes it excitement, not whether you're wearing a gi or not. And people blame the athletes. I thought Leandro Lo, and I'm a fan, I'm going to say something very respectfully because I'm a huge fan of the guy, was the best guy on this planet at stall a match when he's ahead by one advantage. How to play the clock.
Oh, yeah.
Well, people are saying he's a staller. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe if I would have known that when I went to the Worlds and think about this, maybe I would have won my second match, But the idea is like, don't blame the athletes for the rule set. It's like, no, you're there to win, Like it's like I was telling Brianna, when you got the back, what to do to get to get the submission. She goes, I can't do that, Dad. Well, I said, listen, you're going there to make friends or to win fucking fights. I believe in the Nicky Rod's dogma that anything below the eyes is the throat. Like it's, listen, you know what? I've subbed guys, and when they were finished, one guy's upper lip had exploded. I broke a nose and cracked a jaw from working the back. I don't care. You're going to freaking tap, or, are you going to be more afraid of the trap or being disfigured? But back then, we didn't care. We did all that stuff. We went after fingers and all that stuff. It's a good thing we changed. but it's yeah. So CGI and ADCC brought back the grappling into it, you know, and it's like it's good. And now the techniques are evolving according to that. Every technical meta, people talk about meta. The rule set creates metas. There won't be a meta if you keep on the same rule set. Well, there will be. Sorry, I'm exaggerating now to make a point, but the rule set creates metas. That's what it is. Like, but this is why I tell people learn how to grapple first. We'll worry about the rule set you want to go compete after. You know, if you don't know how to grapple, you don't know how to grapple. There's nothing you can do with that.
All right, guys, I got to let you in on a little secret. I am not a scientist. I'm not deeply educated. I'm not freaking John Danaher. But if you're an I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu show listener, that is probably something that you like about the show. That's the biggest thing that we approach with the I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu show, is being able to explain to the common person how to learn Jiu-Jitsu and how to get better at Jiu-Jitsu. And so if you're like me and you're a bit of an imbecile, I have the coolest Jiu-Jitsu product ever for you. So right now at bjjmentalmodels.com, they are giving I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu show listeners a free gift. What that is Rob Bernacki's course, Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles. If you are somebody who is tired of buying Jiu-Jitsu instructionals and then at the end of them going, well, that confirmed everything I thought I knew, I'm an idiot. This didn't help me at all. Well, this is the perfect product for you. What Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles will do is actually teach you in common speak how to do Jiu-Jitsu, how to learn Jiu-Jitsu, how to actually understand what is happening with every technique that is getting thrown at you, and even how to problem solve and make those techniques work better. This is a 7-part series, and it is completely free if you go to bjmentalmodels.com/ISuck. Let's go ahead and get back to the episode.
And it's so funny. People don't think like that. I think that that's something we talk about at my gym a lot, is like, our job is to become good grapplers. A good grappler you could throw on any type of clothing. You could put them in any rule set, and then they can grapple their way out of the situation.
Yeah. I remember I was rolling with Brianna's boyfriend, which is much better than I am. The guy is like, you know, and he got my back, right? So Brianna's standing over, and the smart ass comments are coming in, and I'm caught in a straitjacket, and things are not good, and the bastard's putting a muffler on me on top of it. So I clear my face, and I said, "Oh, Brianna, you think I can get out of this, eh?" I grab his foot, use it like a steering wheel. Next thing you know, I'm on top, and I'm in a top half spin, you know? Then you hear Brianna, I said, too bad, you know what? Too bad I broke my phone and I lost half my stuff, because I had a video of this. And you hear Brianna, oh my God, you're freaking awful. You know, it's like, but there's grappling. Like we had a thing, it's like, Jiu-Jitsu, basically, what you want to do always is bend something the way it's not meant to bend. Like, you know, I love Z guards because I go through this like wet toilet paper. It's, you know, and the people like at BTT, they're freaking maniacs. The names they find for some of the moves, like the failure to comply pass, you know. So we changed this. I'm the guy, you got to change this because, I mean, they called it the George Floyd pass, you know. But I said, Jesus Christ, you can't say this. Even me by my standards. Sorry, listeners, it's me, it's not Josh. So I said, let's call it a different name. You'd walk in our room. I said, when somebody comes in for a free trial, I said, guys, can it down, you know? Like it's, oh my God. Like just, you know, tell this girl, engage your hip, then wear a void and wear a voice in the back. Pretend you're wearing a strap on. Oh my God, it goes on and on and on. But so I said, I'm always make sure to isolate the guy comes in for his free trial. And when I know which one are guilty for saying things like this. So when they start talking, I start talking over them louder, you know, coaching. Yeah. So that's what it is. But
your students and my students, I think, need to meet. I think that could be, we just can't record anything that's said, you know?
A lot of time I was trying to shoot a bit of a bit of instructional, like just something, because I have some friends in Finland. They're in the Demand Maya system, and sometimes, some of the guys, I send them videos or something, or so I'm trying to do something. And there's a guy next to me who he's working with his partner, but he goes on and on and on and on, and it's like, because he was choking the guy, and the guy was gagging, and he says, "You sound like," I'm not going to get into it now, but. Or this guy, he goes, "You have to want it bad. You have to want it like a $5 whore with a mortgage." Like, it goes on and on and on and on. It's like, and I'm trying to shoot that video. Can you guys just give me 2 minutes of fucking silence, But I love these guys. And, it's like, it's refreshing because right now everything is so polarized and everybody gets upset for everything. And down there, it's like we got all size and shapes and color and genders and whatever. And you know what? Nobody gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of refreshing, the fact that we can poke fun and like, oh my God, one guy, he submits, he gets up and he does the Trump, like, fight thing. You gotta love this. It goes on and on.
That is, it sounds like where I, came up training. That's, there was not only, or were you just not allowed to be offended? Not only were you not allowed to have your feelings hurt, but it was as if our only goal was to try to hurt each other's feelings.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. We have a guy from Sri Lanka. We call him Bollywood. Like, it goes on and on and on and on. Some people call him Nightcrawler. Like, it's just like, like you had the big hockey game. Somebody says, he goes, because I'm French Canadian. He goes, "You know why French Canadians always do it doggy style?" I said, "Why?" "Because you both need to see the hockey game. Like it goes on and on and on. It's like it's relentless. I like it. I think it's refreshing, but each his own, I guess."
While we're on the topic of offensive things, tell me about the difference between gi and no gi.
Okay, so because the problem is with people when they do gi, for a long time they do no gi. They step into a guard and they stay there, even when it's not working, when they could just retreat and re-engage, right? That's why I find no-gi easier than gis, because I get in, I don't like it, shove the guy, get back out, and try over again. So they weren't getting it, so I figured I needed to get a little. So I said, gi is like a marriage, all right? When you engage, you need to make it work. No-gi is like a one-night stand in the back of a cab. You don't like it, you get out, you get back in another cab with another girl. It's like, that's what it is. You keep going, It's like, oddly enough, I could come up with all kinds of technical explanation. That's the only one they got. So it tells you their mindset, You start talking about...
Nobody will forget that, no, that will keep it.
My contribution to jiu-jitsu, That's what it is. But it's that's the thing, though. I find jiu-jitsu, a lot of people take themselves way too seriously. Like, I think it's, dude, get over yourself. You submitted somebody, it's like, or you got submitted. I mean, we had a guy, I love the guy because he changed. He goes, "I grew up since then." He'd get submitted and he'd pout in the locker room and go in the car and like just get in the car, talk to no one. Man, if I did that every time I got subbed, because you know what? Here's what I like about my jiu-jitsu now. Because I don't care, I try all kinds of funky things. So most of them don't work. But the experimentation I love, because it makes me grow and utter at, even if, so because I'm not upset by getting nailed, by getting submitted, I will try anything. And then realize, oh God, I think of something in the car. I tried, God, that was stupid, But I'm not, because I don't have those hangups, We had two guys used to come together. They were best friend. And when one of them would submit Yanni had a problem. Yanni in the car would not speak to his friend all the way home.
That's that people, yeah, that is, if there is one thing about, I can even, I guess I could even say my generation, it is that their feelings get hurt so easily. And in jiu-jitsu, that's actually part of the process is,
Right.
your feelings should get hurt, but you learn how to get over it. You learn how to be okay with getting beat up and be okay with
Yeah,
getting beat up a lot on a day.
exactly. Like when I showed up to the Worlds in 2019, somebody says, "Yeah, but what if Megaton shows up in your bracket?" I said, "I would love it. I'd rather do one match against a legend, go full freaking tilt, get my ass handed, than to win a gold medal against three 90-year-old guys." Like, it's like medals are not all worth the same. Like I tell that the kids, like we had a kid who, two brothers, and one of them got a gold, and he had 4 Mickey Mouse matches. When you do bad jujitsu and you still dominate,
Hmm.
and clap, clap, clap for his goal. And his brother at 3 matches only, but barn burners against super hard competition, and he lost by an advantage against a guy who never lost ever since he started doing jujitsu, and he pushed him till the end. Sorry, he went to referee's decision. It was a good decision. So he was upset because his brother got gold and he got silver. I said, dude, your silver medal is worth 10 times more than Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse submission with bad jujitsu. So people have to learn how to put things into context. It's like it's like I tell people, I said, there's a difference between the garage league guy and the competing guy. Like I look at some of the caliber, because now the kids, when I started, you got a blue belt. You hadn't done jujitsu before. Now we had kids that got gray, yellow, orange, green. And by the time they get their freaking blue belts, they're light years ahead of where I was as a blue belt.
Hmm.
So imagine when they're purple and brown. You're not dealing with me when I was at purple and brown, just stumbling all over the mat. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So my job as a teacher is to not to see my student fall in the same mistake I made, like having hangups again and not learning something because I got a stupid hangup about it, you know. And so my job is all the mistakes I made, I don't want them to make them. So they can get better than me sooner. But when I hear guys, well, I had to do this and I did that, so he's going to do it like, no, it doesn't work like this. Your job is to not to repeat the same crap, because it's like, well, he did something bad, so therefore I'm going to do something bad. It doesn't work like this, so my job is to make sure my guys are better than me, quicker. So I look at some of them, my purple belts are much better than when I was a purple belt. And that's the way I like it, So it's at one point, man, I don't know. It's like there's, in French, we say misplaced egos, it's okay. You're going to get your ass kicked at some point. That's nobody beats age. No fighter beats age. It's bottom line, man. It's like, it's what it is. Like, listen, I'm going to get your dad's book there.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of weird is that I did that when I closed my businesses in 2000. I trained people for like 25 years, and just like your dad and stuff. Yeah. So I trained a few people. I trained a few guys made it to super high level. Like one NHL guy. I had a guy play water polo for Canada. But that's another thing that relates to jiu-jitsu, is that you get a gifted athlete, a guy who gets it quickly. It's not a reflection of your coaching. Some guys will be excellent, and no matter what system, I'd love to say it's me, but you train a guy like, or you coach a guy in a sport like Bo Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy becomes the world champion. Well, clap, clap, clap. I want you to take a guy who's borderline, who's got learning issues, is completely unathletic, uncoordinated and you make something out of this guy, it's a better testimonial to your coaching than to take a natural athlete or a natural learning machine like Joseph Chen, for example. I mean, you know, one explanation and you don't have to ask him. He's going to drill it and do it. And, you know, I hate these guys. God damn it. The opposite of me. But the mark of your coaching is not what you do with your top guys, not the guys that get you the medals. It's what you do with the guys which are uncoordinated. And fitness is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you train people. And here's a secret. I'm sure your dad, I don't know if your dad will ever own up to that. You know why people thought I was a great trainer? It had nothing to do with my training methods or what I did or what I didn't do. Here's what it was. I chose my clients. So what I was great at, better than a lot of trainers, is when they came to talk to me, they wanted me to train them. Their choice of words when they spoke and everything told me this guy styled in. This guy, you know, this guy would have success with any trainer. So when you pick your clients, it was great because I had, you know, it made my job easier, you know. They came in the right attitude, right mindset and stuff. And so I chose them well. So that made me look much better than I actually was, you know. I didn't do anything too extravagant, but you pick them, you know.
I like that. They say, I was talking to a chef one time and he said the secret to really good grilled steak is to start with a really good piece of meat. And, you know, that is like, even to your point, Wayne Gretzky's Pee-wee coach was asked, well, what did you do differently with Wayne Gretzky? And he said, I did nothing differently. He was just Wayne Gretzky.
Exactly. Well, his dad said, they asked his dad, when did you know that Wayne was an outlier? Oh, he goes, first time he got on the ice, you know, they're all kids that can barely skate. I threw the puck along the boards, you know, around the net, make the puck go around and say, go get the puck. The whole group chased the puck around like this, like traffic jam by net. Wayne just cut diagonal. And he brought back the puck while everybody was piled up behind the net. Yes, I didn't show him that. He just say, hey, I'm not going to go chase the puck. I'm going to go where the puck is going to be. But nobody showed him that. So it's like, it's what it is, man. Like that's Bo Jackson. Same thing. His coach at, what's that, Baylor? What school? Was he in Texas or something like that? Anyway, his college.
Auburn. He went to Auburn.
Yeah, something like that. So they say, did you have any special plays for Bo or something? He goes, no, we told the O-line just push forward and give Bo the ball. He'll figure out the rest, you know. It's the opposite. When I was playing football, I messed up once. The coach says, what were you doing? So I answered, I said, well, I was thinking. He goes, don't think, it hurts the team. See, so guys like me, we need a structure, you know. It's like, it's what it is. But your job, if I tell people when they go visit a jiu-jitsu school and you want to see how good the instructor is, don't look at the gold medals on the wall and how he coaches his black belts. Go see how he handles the beginners. That will tell you a much greater picture of the guy's coaching ability. Mm-hmm. Because I have a friend who went to New York City. He wanted to do a class in he went to the Meow Brothers school or something like that, or one of the, I don't remember. Hopefully, I'm not telling the story properly. But anyway, he went in, paid the drop in, and he goes, one of the Meow, I don't remember which one, came in. Didn't even acknowledge the group, went to drill with the other killers in there and left. That was it, you know? So he goes, well, you know, it's like, that was it. He goes, drop-in fee was like $50 or something. You know? It's like, Jesus Christ. I said, at least, did you get a picture? No, he was gone before I was done. And then you see another interesting story. I have one of my students, he goes to travel in Europe. He goes to do a class in Switzerland or something. He does the whole class. He goes, the instructor was good and stuff. And I said, but I think he was famous. I said, oh, yeah? Who was it? Well, he goes, I think his name was Tereri. I dropped on my knees. I said, you had God teach you jiu-jitsu? Tell me you took a fucking picture here, bro. He goes, no, I didn't know who he was.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, my God.
Oh,
it's like,
no.
God damn it. everybody says, I'm going to beat you up this morning just for that. You know, like
That's hilarious.
a guy takes a class with Terreri, he doesn't know who he is. I said, oh my God. Oh, fuck. What?
Oh, so tell me this. This is really just one of the last questions that I had that I really wanted to ask you. Is you obviously, the part of the culture of your gym, and then obviously for you, you enjoy a little bit of trash talk, and and I'm the same way. But the truth is, there is no better trash talk than when my dad and I roll with each other.
Oh, for
If my
sure.
dad ever gets me with something, he's telling my mom at dinner the next time we're all out. He won't mention it for weeks, and then he'll be like, "Hey, did I tell you I hit Josh with a toe hold?" And then everybody, "Oh, Josh, that's terrible. I can't believe that happened." So we're always being really creative with our trash talk. What does you and Brianna's trash talk look like when you guys
Well,
roll and when you're rolling with other people?
we're rarely, I think I rolled with her 3 times because she's always traveling to train. When she was training a lot BTT, when she was at BTT downtown, schedule conflicting and stuff like that. And actually, you know what? The last time I rolled, no, I don't think we did because we don't roll that often. So, yeah. But the trash talk is like I told a guy, I said, it's like, dude, he's about to pass you around for a pack of smokes, And one of there was a kid there. I didn't know he listened. And in the kids' class, he told that I'm going to pass you around for a pack of smokes. It's like, he's 8 years old.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. So no, not really. You know what? It's like, honestly, truth be told, I try to get out of, first of all, I don't believe that parents can coach their kids. You're either a dad or you're a coach.
Mm.
And if you decide to be a coach and you try to be a dad at the same time, you're going to ruin the relationship, either the coach relationship or the dad relationship. So unless she asks me something, I will, answer the question. But I've never, no, I never got involved with any of this. I thought she was doing good with Leo, with Cascao there, Leo and Leonardo, Sagiro, Fabio, and all that stuff. Good hands. I want no part of it. It's once I coached during an exhibition fight, and I said, okay, what do you want? So I just need the time. I said, okay. So I said, listen, if you're ahead, you get time every minute. If you're starting to get in trouble, I'll give you every 30 or 15 seconds. And I told her, I don't bullshit on the time. That's a big mistake to tell the guy there's less time. Then after, when he knows you bullshit it, every time you call out the time, you're going to start thinking, is it there? So, no. So I said, I just call the time, but I want no part of this. It's her show. And no, I am the one who asked her question because she knows more than I do. It's like, so, yeah. So, it's funny because when she finally swept Montero once, was at the Brasileiros, she was in trouble, bottom half. She grabbed the leg and pulled it like that. That's my move, So I said, you fucking took my move. She goes, that's not your move. That's my freaking move. And you know it. I showed it to you in the basement the other day. It's like, but it's, that's about it. I know we don't do that much because like I said, we're rarely in the same room.
Mm.
So, and I kind of, honestly, I kind of like it like this. Like, it's, I think I've saw so many bad, good coaches that became, instant shitty coach. Just coach your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big problem. It's different. You're that, and you're adults already and stuff. And it's, but like I said, a lot of time when I roll with Brianna, it's like I put some. Like I said, I try to play chess with her, so it won't go that good for me. Like I try to counter like technique to technique and stuff. Because see, like as a contrast, you look at a grappler like Adele, right? I think Adele right now, her submission game is so precise. It's like mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the puzzle pieces snapping into place. I'm more what you call the avalanche of shit. Like I just go like, and I'll catch some stuff on the way, So there's butchers and there's surgeons. She's a surgeon, I'm a butcher. So it's like, and I tell people also, here's another thing. I say, don't copy my jujitsu. It's wrong. because I do what I call default jujitsu. Everything is done according to my orthopedic limitations. So when I take a decision, a lot of time one would say, well, not the optimum thing to do. Well, at this point, for me, it was the optimum thing to do. Right? Like I remember once Fred says, stand up. And I say, I can't, not today. It's like, so I do what I call default jujitsu. Okay. So so I'm not a good person to model their roles on, like so it's like, so we don't, but the trash talk with the teammates, it's relentless. Like even people trash talk the person they're not rolling with. It's kind of funny. Like they shit talk the guy rolling next to them. Like it's interesting. It's very interesting. Like I said, you gotta watch when there's free trial.
My students love to coach the guy that I'm going against, that I'm beating down, and they love to their favorite trash talk is like, oh, free your leg right after I pass the guard, and they're like, oh, sorry, you missed it, oh, you don't let him be there. And they always love to mockingly coach. That's some of the favorite trash talk at the gym. What is it like for you watching your daughter compete, especially as she's gotten to such a high level? You're watching matches that thousands of people are watching. What is the stress like there?
Oh man, you know what? It's probably was contributing to my heart attack thing. I'm going to try to show you where I sit. That's my jiu-jitsu watching chair here. Hang on. I sit there and flow has a tendency to glitch right at the worst moment. So if you don't, I can swear in 8 different languages. So I sit there. This is the jiu-jitsu chair, right? If you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I sit there. That's Brianna's dog. And I sit there and I watch. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna get excited. I stay calm. And about the match start, and I get like a basketball in my chest, I go like, So especially when she starts to submit, I'm a hunter. So I said, I might say scream thing like rip her nose off, like it's like, come on. It has to, no. It's like, but honestly, she doesn't need me, so this is why there's no fucking way I'd be able to stand on the side and just coach. There's no way. There's no way. It's like, this is why I say, like, I usually watch the matches the next day when I'm calm, and then I look at what she did, what she didn't do. But on the heat of the moment, if I would be telling her what to do, I would probably tell her the wrong things just based on that. Don't forget, it's like a lot of things when I was competing myself, a lot of things was rage fuel. Both my parents were alcoholics. I was not a good kid. Like, I got into all kinds of trouble and stuff. I got some stuff. I'm lucky I didn't get caught because I would probably still be inside and stuff. And so everything I did was, it's funny, I got into martial art because I figured I can hurt people without getting in trouble. And I got my ass kicked as soon as I started. But it's like, for me, everything, I had to exercise this out of my system because when I was kickboxing a long time ago, for me, it was like I got high on seeing the guy breaking, like either mentally and stuff. And it was not like a positive victory feeling that you should get, okay? It was like, look at the guy in the locker room. He's still on the fucking floor barfing and stuff and bleeding in the drain. And I got into fights in the locker rooms before and after. It was not positive for me. But when I started back to compete a bit in jiu-jitsu, I realized when the ref says go, it's like I gotta make a conscious effort not to switch back in that mode. I have no care. I'll break fingers, and it's not good. But when I watch Brianna, I feel this surging inside of me as I watch her, So I'm happy. Usually it's like, I want to be alone. Don't freaking put people around me when I watch so I can scream all the stupid things that don't make sense, which are ridiculous. And then the next day I'll watch it, enjoy the match, and then enjoy it for what it's worth, But it's not like it's not good. I shouldn't be there, Like
I I get it. Some of the most stressful times of my life were the few times my dad competed, and I was we were always kind of the same belt coming up, and when
right,
he would compete, it was just I'm like, man, I don't know how you want to be here when I compete. It's
right.
like it's so stressful.
No, it's stressful, and like I said, it's so I don't want to be around her and stuff like I don't want to be I don't want to be there because I'm for me it's like it's the anger is not good, like
Hmm.
it shouldn't be angry, it should be a happy moment, but that's what it is. So I get like way worked up and stuff. It's not good. Mind you, I'm not like that with the kids I coach, which is kind of wild.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, that's like, my wife says, you can't go coach kids. You can't go coach kids. You can't do that. And, but I said, no, I'm not like that with the kids, So it's, but no, you can't do that. You can't do that. They don't do
Hmm.
this. Yeah, you have a daughter, right?
I have a son.
Oh, okay. You have a son. Yeah, yeah. Wait, when he hits the mat there. But when they're very little is one thing. But when they get older, you have to farm it out to somebody.
Oh yeah.
You have to
Hmm.
farm it out. Yeah, find somebody you trust. And when I coached my son in lacrosse a long time ago, I told my assistant to deal with him. I never spoke to him once in a whole year. I told my assistant, and he was thankful for it because he knew me. He knew if I know. It's like, so the assistants, I said, no, you guys will manage everything about him.
Hmm.
You take care of it, not me. And they did a great job with him. It's like I was happy to watch this. I was happy to be out of it too.
Hmm.
So sometimes they do something and I go, and my assistant would look at me and say, I got this. Okay, that's right. It's tough because you're a certain way and your kids are different. I never want my kids to be like me. I'm happy they're not like me. And it's difficult sometimes because if for certain things you want them to be like you. My son in lacrosse was a sniper.
Hmm.
Tread the needles, get a shot, and score goals and stuff. I was the guy who crashed in head first. So at some point, I said, how come he didn't crash this? Like Jesus Christ, that's not him. You don't want him to be like you, like you want him to. That's right. So I'm happy. My eldest is more like me. It's too bad she didn't do jujitsu, but she was a rugby player. She played for university rugby and did very well for herself, but she was more like me. Like she played with in my case, since I had no talent, not being an athlete or somebody like this, there's only one way I'm going to make it. It's called messianic intensity. Like that's what it is. It's good, but it's emotionally draining. You finish the game, you're fried. Like you're always going to be more intense than the guy next to you and stuff. And that's how you get banged up. Probably if I would have been smart, I wouldn't have all the injuries piled up that I got. Like.
Hmm.
It's what it is. So live and learn. So I'm happy my kids are different, like it's good. Good thing. Good thing.
That's really good. Mark, is there anything you want to say to finish?
You know what? Well, I'm very, very happy to have done this with you. And I think it's fun and it's fun to be able to have a conversation without, like, I thought it's great. No bullshit, honest and stuff like that. That's why I enjoy your podcast. That's why I think for me, there's only two jujitsu podcasts. It's Mind Models and yours because for the simple reason is like, first of all, there's meat to it. Like it's light, but not empty. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I don't care about, Gordon Ryan's dick size or what so-and-so says about all that stuff. I think, maybe it's because I'm older, but it's juvenile shit, that stuff. And I'm, I think it's wastes a lot of time. But your podcast and the Mind Model, Steve's podcasts are great because I was driving in the car and listening to one, and even my wife thought it was good, and she knows nothing about jujitsu. So the conversation are productive and stuff like that, you know. But it's good also because right now, anytime you watch media, it's always about one side's a Nazi, the other guy's a communist. Yeah, so it's, you know, it gets to be tiresome, and everywhere you look, it's always like everybody's posturing, everybody's trying to et cetera, et cetera. So it's nice to have places where you can sit and have a good conversation, and not having to deal with all this. Hang on, my dog's about to knock a mirror down. Hey, she's a 65-pound puppy. This one. Yeah, Brianna got a dog. Turns out it looks like it's going to be my dog soon because she's always on the road. But yeah, so it's great. I'm happy to have done this and keep at it. So tell me, where are you at exactly geographically?
I'm in Granite City, Illinois, so I'm by like
Illinois. Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Right.
So I'd be
Right.
on like Chicago is the north side of Illinois. I'm on the south side of Illinois.
Ah,
I'm like
I
the
get
opposite.
it. I get it. Nice. Oh man, you know, I'm gonna have to drop in one day.
I would love to have you, Mark. I really
That's right.
really enjoyed this conversation. It was a lot of fun actually
Likewise, buddy.
talk back and forth. Usually we're just messaging on Instagram or voice messaging on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a real conversation with you.
Is that wild? We got all those tools that are called communication tools, and we're losing our ability to communicate.
Yes,
Man,
that
is
is
that
very
funny?
true.
I remember because not your generation, but what we're doing now with the screens and stuff, we get that in spy movies when I was a kid or science fiction. It was like, oh my God, look at this. They're talking through a screen. Now we're doing it. That was a lot of fun, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Man, thank you for being on the show, Mark.
Likewise, buddy.